Hello, I'm reading more The Devil on the G-String. The streets may be crowded, but tonight is especially cold.
Oh, Kyousuke, 待たせたな.
The pitiable Eiichi finally arrived. How did it go?
バッチリだ.
He revealed the 2 keys. Seems like he got the master key too. I'll take care of him. Nobody saw you, right?
大丈夫だって.
Did you do anything unnecessary in the faculty office? Like search through Miss Noriko's desk? We'll be suspended if we're caught, you know.
信用しろよ.
I'm still a bit worried. Oh well. I can't wait until tomorrow comes.
そうだな.
In the middle of the crowd, we burst into chuckles. The third lesson tomorrow is physical education. I can already see it now, the devastated look on Kanon's face. Oh.
ていうか寒くね? 雪降るんじゃないのこれ?
Eiichi sniffled, his red ears quivering.
帰るわ. 風邪ひきそうだし.
Oh, wait, Eiichi. While we're on Central Boulevard, I might as well ask him. Have you heard of a group called The Boys? Eiichi tilted his head and thought for a moment.
ああ、今超有名だよね。あいつらがやるイベントは当日チケット買えないって話じゃん。今じゃどこの箱からも引っ張りだこだって。
Do you know any of the members' names?
なんか6人いるって聞いたよ。
Who's the leader?
よく知らんね。たださ。
But?
リーダーは人前には出ないんだって。普通イベントやる前にはトップが挨拶するもんだけど、そういうのもないみたいだし。
Nobody's ever seen him?
さすがに幹部は顔知ってるんじゃないかな。でもなんでそんなこと知りたがるの?
Actually, the girl I'm with right now likes these kind of clubs.
ああ、京介みたいなチャラ男なら俺に聞かないでも知ってるかと思ってた。
Yeah, I appreciate the info. The boss never shows up, will he? If there are 6 members, though, at least one of them must be in contact with him. Well, then my course is clear. If Gonzo's group captures one of the members, that person will spit out the information quickly. To Gonzo, this is as humiliating as putting on mud on one's face. He'd have the kid tortured for it. Looks like I won't even be needed.
じゃあ、また明日な。
Yeah, I'll be a bit late tomorrow. I have to visit the hospital first thing in the morning.
え？精神科とか?
Eiichi's joking. You got me. Truth be told, though, I really am going to meet someone from that field.
いいな、京介は。俺もいっぱい絡ませたいぜ。
Okay. He thinks that I'm meeting someone from OBGYN. Eiichi finally heads toward the bus station. If you only counted appearances, that guy would have been as cute as an angel. Well now, time to don my other personality. I thought about the family business as I made phone calls one by one. I haven't taken part in any illegal dealings. We're trying to give the semblance of a legit company after all, and we don't want the police to pick up on anything funny. For example, I might provide snacks, towels, ice, handkerchiefs, plants, and artwork to hotels, fast food restaurants, pubs, clubs, etc. These may be minor accessories, but they still make a great profit when they start adding up. Central Boulevard is known for its services targeting the younger generation. To a mafia company like the Usami Corporation that runs on both clean and dirty businesses, that's a treasury of power. The Usami Corporation has the biggest stake in Central Boulevard right now, but the organizations from Kansai are starting to set their eyes on it again, so we have to stay alert. Right, in order to increase sales in the industry, a little competition would be profitable. We shouldn't push Kotsunie under too hard. Are there any outstanding issues that need to be dealt with? True, my father is a horrifying monster, but the Usami Corporation is not. Only the Demon Lord in some video game would actually relish in destroying the world. Come to think of it, there's still Shiratori Mizuha. Yes, thanks for the help so far. Now there's another issue. Shiratori scorns me because she holds issue with my alleged mafia work at such a young age. Anyone with an honest job would be shocked after finding out what I really did. But it isn't unusual for violent groups to use young people. They're young, full of energy, ignorant, and rash. And most importantly, they're protected by the law if and when anything goes sour. As the vanguard for violence, there's probably no better choice. A small difference between me and the rest of them, though, is that Gonzo doesn't treat me as just a bullet. My job's not using my body, but my mind. From the day I was adopted, Gonzo provided me with everything I needed. He even gave me the opportunity to get an education. Everything I could imagine was at my fingertips. Anything was attainable. However, Gonzo recorded every last penny he ever spent on me. Not just food and water, either. His criticism ranged from the rent of my tiny room to the cost of my office furniture, even down to a single sheet of tissue. Anything related to life was changed to a form of debt to him. All the costs, compounded by a steep interest, forced me to use my mind to achieve his ends. Right, well, I'll talk to you again soon. The call ended. I sat quietly under the dim streetlights. Nearly every problem in this world can be solved with money. Take Central Boulevard as an example. Its very composition is undeniably intertwined with the almighty yen. Cell phones ringing everywhere, women with brand name dresses. There's a road repair project underway as the end of the year nears. Even the early winter's cold night sky is engulfed by the aura of the Sano Corporation building. I'll crush all of this. Then, at the exact moment I whispered this to myself.
寒いっすね。
When did she appear? Usami stood in front of me before I knew it. Oh, Usami? You sure are playing around quite late, aren't you?
ああ、違います。昼間も言いましたけど、バイトです。バイトの帰りです。
Really? What would that job be?
それでちょっとお願いなんすけど。
You weren't listening, were you? I really don't like this girl.
あ、すいません。自分よく人をダウンな気分にさせるみたいなんで。ダウナー系の界隈ではブイブイ言わせてる方なんで。いや本当は人混みとか苦手なんすよ。背筋とか丸まっちゃって下見て歩いてるもんだから歩道の白線とかずっと数えちゃうんすよ。
Oh, what are you trying to say?
あ、果物屋です。自分主にバナナ売ってます。
Enough. I understand. So, what is it that you want? Usami tilted her head.
携帯電話貸してもらえませんか？
My cell phone? You don't have one?
はい、自分電話とか苦手なんで。
It's not just calls. You're not used to communication itself, are you?
いや、それはないっす。
Clearly she doesn't know the first thing about herself.
バイト先に財布忘れちゃって、早く連絡しないとお店閉められちゃうと思うんで、すいません、唐突で。
Something's not right here. This annoying woman. Is she trying to check my call logs behind the guise of a long conversation? Sorry.
はい。
I don't have my cell phone with me right now.
持ってない。
Usami's eyes widened as if she was shocked to the bone. I think I dropped it about an hour ago. I'm actually looking for it now. Her pure eyes twinkled.
それは嘘だ。
What? Usami's focus slowly moved from my eyes to the right.
寒いですよね。私なんか耳まで真っ赤です。
I see.
けれど、あなたは左の耳しか赤くない。これはつまり、ついさっきまで何かが右の耳に触れていたということだ。
This girl's pretty sharp. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to fool around with you. Don't glare at me like that.
いえいえ、自分も冗談です。右の耳だけ寒さに強い体質なんで、とか言われたら、ギャグで終わってるところでした。
Sorry. I made my usual slack smile.
いえいえ。
Usami also made a creepy smile. I handed my cell phone over, and Usami started dialing immediately.
バイトの宇佐美です。ええ、サラサラロングヘアの宇佐美です。店長まだいらっしゃったんですね。よかったっす。
She returned to her lazy mood. The more I learn about her, the weirder she gets. Though I will admit that she's a genius at making others feel nervous. Or is it only me that she affects so strongly? I feel like that stare of hers sees everything within me.
どうも、終わりました。
Oh, found your wallet?
ありました。店が終わってバナナを冷蔵庫にしまうときに落としちゃったみたいですね。店長が拾っておいてくれましたよ。
You're pretty clumsy.
バイトでもかなりどやされてますよ。自慢じゃないっすけど。
She started scratching her head lazily.
それじゃ、この度はお手数をおかけしまして。
Usami turned her back toward me and continued forward. So, what's your real job?
はい？
Usami turned around. It might have just been my imagination, but Usami seemed a little happy. Working at a fruit stall is a lie, isn't it? Jeez.
どういうことっすかね。
What's her motive? To keep the flavor properly, one should never refrigerate bananas. That's even more crucial as a salesman than as a consumer. She must have already recognized this. She's trying to test me.
そうっすね。その通りっす。バレちゃいましたか。 浅井さんって賢いっすね。何気ない会話の中で嘘を見抜くなんて。
Don't mess with me. And you, Usami, are such an interesting person. So basically, she never actually had any intention of borrowing my cell phone.
いやいや、ほんとすいません。バイト先は内緒ってことで、一つお願いします。
Why is she trying to get close to me?
でも、せっかく浅井さんとたくさんお話できましたし、せっかくついでに一つだけいいっすかね。
Here it comes. What is it? The next point will be the crux of the conversation.
いや、大したことじゃないんすけど。
Usami straightened her back slowly as she spoke.
魔王、知らないか？
It's not a word one hears often, so I thought I had misheard her. Usami glared at me with stern eyes. What's Maou? Some demon lord in an RPG video game?
ゲームといえばゲームかもしれない。
I'm not sure what you mean. If you're looking for game walkthroughs, wouldn't it be better to search on the net?
インターネットで所在がわかるほど簡単な敵じゃない。
Enemy?
敵だ。
The lazy ambience which had dominated the conversation up until now disappeared in an instant.
わからないか？
Why would I?
私は魔王を追ってこの町に来たんだ。
I do not know who that is. Are you serious? If so, then the only thing I can think is that you're a bit mad.
要件はそれだけだ。
Huh?
私は魔王を探している。それをお前に知っておいてもらいたかった。
I had no reply. Nevertheless, Usami's eyes reflected something beyond mere determination. They reflected absolute hatred.
邪魔をしたな。
Her footsteps vanished into the crowd of Central Boulevard. Usami is looking for something called the Maou. She's probably referring to a specific person. Something feels wrong. Usami may be a strange woman, but she's clearly smart enough to be aware of what she's doing. So then why would she say something that would arouse suspicions of insanity? And why would she say it to me? Time to go home. Even if I think about it, I'll just come up with nothing. Nothing except Usami Haru called herself a hero. A being of justice that subdues the strong and helps the weak. You don't find those kinds of people. If such an extraordinary exception existed, I'd like to see it. It gets on my nerves, even if it was just a joke. And as for me, I'd rather play the role of the devil. At this time of day, the region of downtown Tomenbetsu City, called Central Business, was enveloped in the darkness of night. Row upon row of colossal buildings sheltered the deserted streets from the cold winter air. Still, even wild dogs and the homeless stayed away from Central Business. The offices of hundreds of powerful companies line up against each other within this single district. During business hours, famous celebrities from all around the world pass through this area and invariably show up on the media. Some business magazines have gone so far as to call Tomenbetsu Central Business the second largest Japanese economic powerhouse, following Tokyo's business district. In the region's center lies an especially eye-catching enormous high-rise. A gargantuan tower with 50 stories above ground and 6 beneath. It was designed with the purpose of overlooking the entire city in mind, a purpose not unlike that of the company it houses. The headquarters of Seno Corporation, one of Japan's top conglomerates. When the other offices went into slumber, only this firm remained awake. Since they acquired intelligence from agents all around the world, the data simply couldn't be processed without a 24-hour work schedule. In the deepest part of the building stood Maou, the 7th floor beneath the surface, a floor which should not have existed at all. The hidden chamber. It belonged to the Seno Corporation, yes, but only a very select few were allowed to enter. The average employee would not even be aware of its existence. This building had more security systems installed than any other in central business. Surveillance cameras, metal detectors, they had it all. The only access to this room was an elevator that led directly to the ground floor. For emergencies, triple reinforced glass separated the elevator's door from the entrance to the secret room.
この部屋では、たとえ人が死んだとしても、秘密裏に処理されるのでしょうな。
A lone male said this. A man in a double-layered suit who looked to be somewhere in his 50s. A few strands of gray popped out from his head of neatly combed hair. His Seno Corporation ID badge reflected a dull light under the dim fluorescent lamp.
こんな時間に呼び出してすまないね。だが、私だって時間を割いているということを理解してもらいたい。
The man's tone portrayed a strong confidence. His name was Someya. As Seno Corporation's Director of Senior Management and Head of Corporate Strategy, he holds absolute power in this company. A single order from this man could cause the Nikkei index to fluctuate. A single phrase could drive an employee to take his own life. Nevertheless, Maou merely stared blankly at the wall before him.
君が経営企画室の影のブレーンとして我々に意見するようになってそろそろ1年になるかね。
Rather than nodding, Maou calmly rearranged his position.
初めはどこの馬の骨かと思ったよ。社長の推薦とはいえ、設立80年の歴史を誇る山王物産によそ者が紛れ込んでいるのだからね。
He's beating around the bush. Perhaps that particular tendency comes with the territory for someone working in the trade business. Maou looked at Someya emotionless.
確かに君の活躍は目覚ましい。君のおかげで我が社はそれまで河川市場だった軍事産業に食い込むことができた。また大幅な人員削減によっていわゆる大企業病からの脱却を図ることもできた。さらに
He showed no sign of stopping the praise. However, Maou already sensed the truth lying behind Someya's words. Thus, he finally began to speak.
私の力はもう不要だとおっしゃりたいのでしょう。
His quiet voice went straight to the point. Someya went silent.
私の指図であなた方は動き、莫大な利益を得た。だが同時に、とても世間に公表できないような計画も断行してしまった。
我が社は多くのリスクを抱え込んでしまったんだよ。
私のせいで？
君のその悪魔的な頭脳のせいでだ。
Someya's lips quivered. Maou knows. Someya may be in a position of power within an enormous company, but that only applies to the workings of the company itself. With respect to the illegal acts planned by Maou, he was a mere
率直に言おう。南米に飛んでもらいたい。
暖かいですな。
Maou let a subtle laugh escape his lips. Someya tried to smooth things over.
そこでしばらく身を隠してほとぼりが冷めるのを待ってもらいたいのだ。
暖かいですな。
そう、暖かい場所だよ。現地では豪勢な社宅を用意してやる。苦労はさせないつもりだ。
Maou shook his head.
違います。
何が
違うのかね。
あなたが温室育ちだと言いたいのですよ。
Someya cringed as if he bit his tongue.
私を本当に邪魔だと言うならば、もっとやり方があるでしょ
う。やり方だと？
Just then, the elevator doors opened. A man in white entered. Someya's face turned to the side. He welcomed the man with eyes that cried for help.
紹介しよう。こちらは桑島君。
He was a young man that looked to be in his mid-20s. He was pale and frail looking, but his eyes seemed to glow with an eerie sheen. He seemed like the type that would be more at home in a laboratory than a business enterprise.
我が社の新しいコンサルタントだ。ボストンで勉強していたのを無理を言って来てもらったのだ。
私の後任というわけか。
大学ではゲーム理論を学んでました。
Kyousuke spoke with a husky
魔王
voice.
と呼ばれているそうですから、どんな方かと楽しみにしてましたが、意外とお若いんですね。僕は26ですが、ひょっとしてそれより下ですか。
ゲーム理論の専門家にしては自分の情報をペラペラと喋る。
あなたのことは染谷室長から聞いてますよ。
Maou took a look at Someya. That motion alone filled Someya with fear.
桑島君はすでに社内の人間だ。君のことを話しても構わんだろう。
社内の人間。なるほど。山王物産ほどの大企業は私のような得体の知れない人間の手を借り続けるのは居心地が悪いのでしょうな。
派遣交代というわけですよ。山王はこれから僕の手でクリーンに生まれ変わるんです。
Kyousuke continued his pretentious speech. Maou didn't hate young men who were blinded by pride. He smiled as he thought, "Oh, come, what would I?"
なんだ、僕のどこがおかしいんだ。
君は秀才であるのかもしれない。だが実績はまだないのだろう。
Kyousuke sneered.
いいか、企業戦略は理論だ。実績なんて後からついてくる。最新の理論を持つ僕が華々しい功績を上げるであろうことはすでに数値的には証明されているんだ。
頼もしいな。
Maou slowly walked toward Kyousuke.
一つゲームをしよう。
ゲーム？
君が勝てば私は潔く身を引こう。採用試験と受け取ってもらっても構わない。
Kyousuke smiled as Maou finished.
いいでしょう。で、どんなゲームですか？
Maou stretched his left arm and held it out before Kyousuke. He spread out each finger and pointed it at the man before him.
君も同じように指を広げてくれ。
Kyousuke held out his left hand.
ここに私と君の分を足して10本の指がある。
魔王といえども指は5本なのですね。
Maou continued calmly, ignoring Kyousuke's mockery.
ルールは簡単だ。これから我々は交互に空いている右手を使ってこの10本の指を折っていく。
逐次定番ゲームですか。かなりの得意分野ですよ。
自分の番が来たら指を2本折ってもいいし1本折ってもいい。ただし指は私と君のを交互に折らなければならない。
1本あるいは2本ですね。最終的に最後の指を折ったプレイヤーが勝ちというわけですか。
察しがいいな。何か質問は？
Then Kyousuke quietly chuckled. He was trying to conceal his amusement. It seemed that his laughter was directed at what he considered to be his opponent's stupidity.
提案ですがね、魔王。
何かな？
僕が先行でいいですか？
Maou nodded. Kyousuke smirked as his proposal was approved.
その代わり私からも提案だ。
何でもどうぞ。
各プレイヤーに与えられる制限時間は20秒としようか。
20秒10秒もいりませんよ。
10秒でいいのか？
ええ。
本当に？
しつこいな。さっさとやりましょうよ。
Maou and Kyousuke faced each other. Each spread his left hand and straightened his fingers.
ではゲームを開始しますよ。僕が先行でしたね。
Kyousuke bent his own thumb with his right hand.
まずは1本ですね。
Since they began with Kyousuke's thumb, the person who bends Mao's little finger will be the winner. Mao bent his own thumb. And Kuwashima's index finger.
君の番だ。制限時間は10秒だったな。
Kuwashima bent Mao's index finger with a confident look on his face.
1本でいいのかな？
ええ、僕の勝利は決まっていますから。
Mao bent 2 fingers during his next turn. Kuwashima's middle finger and then his own. Kuwashima chuckled afterward.
笑わせないでくださいよ、魔王。
どうした？
これはいわゆる先に10といったもん勝ちのゲームだ。必勝法は中学生でも知っていますよ。
Kuwashima touched his own ring finger as he laughed uncontrollably.
僕のこの薬指はゲームにおける7番目の指です。このゲームは後ろから解いていけばいいのです。自分が10本目を折るためには7本目を折れば勝利が確定します。
ほう。
7を折るためには4を、4を折るためには1を、つまり先行を取ったプレイヤーが必ず勝つんですよ。
Mao listened to Kuwashima's explanation
な
quietly.
ぜなら僕が7本目の指を折った場合、魔王は8本目のみ、あるいは8本目と9本目の指を折ることしかできませんからね。魔王が8本目のみを折った場合、僕は9、10と、
Oh.
魔王が8本目と9本目を折った場合、僕は10本目を折ることができます。
Then Kuwashima finally put the 7th finger, his own ring finger, down.
君の語りが長いので制限時間はとっくに過ぎてしまった。
Mao said this calmly.
君の負けだと言いたいところだが、一度は許そう。
さすがは魔王、寛大な処置をありがとうございます。
だが二度はない。ゲームを続ける。
ゲーム続行ですって？僕の説明が理解できなかったのですか？
3 fingers remain. The 8th, Mao's ring finger. The 9th, Kuwashima's little finger. And the 10th, Mao's little finger.
あなたはバカですか？僕が7本目の指を折った以上、どうやったってあなたの負けなんですよ。
勝負というものは最後までわからない。
Mao put down his ring finger, then stretched his right hand toward Kuwashima's pinky.
わからない人だな。染谷室長、これで僕を認めてくれますよね。
Kuwashima was drunk on his victory, but then it happened. Suddenly, Kuwashima screamed. He didn't clearly understand what had just happened, but his suffering and shock were plain on his face.
何を？
As opposed to the panicked Kuwashima, Mao didn't make the slightest reaction.
綺麗に折れたろ？実際に経験したことがあればわかるだろうが、小指が折れてもさほど苦痛はないものだ。
Kuwashima's face turned pale. His finger was pointing in an impossible direction. There was no doubt a shock to a researcher like Kuwashima. Mao had truly bent his pinky.
さて、君の番だ。制限時間は10秒でいいんだったな。
Kuwashima didn't respond. Instead, he bent down and shivered in pain.
どうした？二度はないと言ったはずだぞ。10本目。私の小指を折れば君の勝利ではないか？
助けて！
Kuwashima's already abandoned all thoughts about the game. The match was decided. Mao put down his arm and spoke to the man before him as he whimpered like a small animal.
君が戦略家として使い物になるかどうかは初手で見極めがついていた。
Mao continued his speech without a shred of pride at his victory.
君の言う通り、このゲームは先行を取った者が必ず勝つゲームだ。誰でも知っているが、誰でも知っているからこそ裏を読まなければならなかった。
Kuwashima's face lurched as he blocked his forehead with the back of his hand. He has already understood his complete failure.
君はまず初手で私の親指をへし折るべきだったのだ。小指と違って親指はかなり応える。 だから私は20秒の制限時間を提案した。指を骨折した苦痛と衝撃に耐えるのに20秒程度の時間が欲しかったのだ。
そんな、何のためらいもなく人の指を折るなんて。
何のためらいもなく人を傷つけることができなければ企業戦略家は務まらない。我々の一言で会社が倒産し一家が離散し自殺する。まともな常識のある人間にとっては抵抗感のある仕事だ。
Maou glanced at Somea, standing in the corner of the room like a decoration.
染谷室長、お分かりか？
Sweat started pouring from Somea's forehead, as if he just now realized how terribly powerful Maou really was.
私が邪魔者で企業にとって不必要だと判断したのならば、南米に飛ばすなどという暴挙はやめた方がいい。それは非常に手ぬるい選択だ。なぜなら私にはまだこの会社を使ってやるべきことがある。私が会社にもたらした利益に見合うだけの報酬を受け取っていない。不当な扱いを与えられるのならば、私は全力をもって山王物産に復讐するでしょう。
わかった。
Somea raised his arms nervously. Maou continued closing in.
あなたはおっしゃったでしょう。この地下室ではたとえ死人が出ても秘密裏に処理されるのだと。
わかったと言っているじゃないか。
私を殺しなさい。それが一番確実ですよ。
やめてくれ。
Maou knows how to control his fellow man. He simply causes pain without hesitation. Somea and Kuwashima can't do this. Just now, Maou demonstrated this lethal distinction. This distinction and the magnificent, overwhelming strength of violence. Somea's curse was only a compliment to the Maou. It's not easy to get away from a clinical psychology counselor once one gets a hold of you. Truth be told, you can't find a person in this world without a single psychological problem. And if you ask me, doctors are labeling mere discontent as a serious disease. The good news is that I haven't reached a point where I need to be sent to a hospital yet. Still, a 5,000 yen per hour therapy fee is simply too much of a waste in my eyes. They make money by preaching nonsense about something you could have figured out from reading a book. What a magical, lucrative business. So should I just talk about my past again? A certain building in the business district houses a clinical psychology institute on its 5th floor. Beyond the reception desk, inside the therapist's room, I sat sitting face to face with the attending physician. The room itself was a spacious 500 square feet or more. A comfortable sofa and a surreal landscape painting are present to relieve anxiety, and a pair of matching tea-colored bookcases position themselves alongside the daily commodities. Even the light music that was circulating the room was there to target the sought-after goal of soothing a patient's soul.
もう10回目くらいになるかな。
Dr. Akimoto's tone was steady. His overweight body was wrapped in a white coat, and he directed a warm gaze at me. I've already read the story of his life from the back cover of his book. His picture gave off the impression of your everyday chubby man, like that of a pig, but he's quite a distinguished man. He studied in the States, acted as a special lecturer at a certain university in Tokyo, and had been a psychological counselor in the hospital of said university.
京介君、今だからこそ本当のことを話すけれどね。
It always takes him a while to get to the point, but I've already gotten so used to it that I've come to find it almost endearing.
1年くらい前かな。ちょうど君が初めて私の元を訪ねてきた時だね。正直なところ、私は君の話を半信半疑に聞いていたんだ。
Really?
君は何と言ってきたんだっけ？
One could say his job entails getting his patients to repeat what he already knows over and over for themselves. It seems like I have different values than the average teenager in this society. Everyone always says to trust others, respect your superiors, help your friends, and honor your parents, but that's not the way that my mind works. I believe that people's hearts can be bought with money, that everyone only thinks of themselves, and that people act in order to further propagate what benefits them most. Dr. Akimoto shook his blubbery head.
人間には誰しも良い自分と悪い自分が共存しているんだよ。幼児は犬猫をかわいそうだと思って拾ってあげる優しい一面と、カエルの口に爆竹を入れるような残酷な一面も持ち合わせているよね。けれど成長して情緒が整ってくると、悪い自分を理性で抑えられるようになる。君は今まで例えば人を殴ってやりたいとか思ったことはないかい？
Yes, when someone borrowed money without any intent to pay it back, I wanted to kill him.
けれど実際には殺さない。そうだよね。
Yes. He nodded again, satisfied.
ん？ここが境目なんだ。君が人格障害を持つ患者でないことを示すボーダーラインなんだ。
This could also just be the standard problems and worries that come with growing up, yes?
アメリカのとある大学教授がね、思春期におけるホルモンバランスの変化がいわゆる不良少年を作り出す原因ではないということを実験で証明しているんだ。
But the things that I'm doing right now aren't all that different from the actions of a delinquent. Gonzo introduced me to Dr. Akimoto. So, on some level, he knows about my position within the SI Corporation.
つまり、君が人の心は金で買えると思うようになってしまったのは、それなりの理由があるということだよ。
And that cause is...
それを今からじっくりと探っていこうじゃないか。
Oh. Truly a lucrative business, worthy of respect. Of course, there's a reason that I spend my money on this counseling. This is a process that I must go through in order to receive a psychiatrist's signature on certain documents. Those documents waive a large portion of my school's attendance and credit requirements, making it easier to graduate. To a person like me, who skips often and doesn't take his academics seriously, it's a great deal. Of course, it does cost a pretty penny, but I only come here once a month, so I just think of it as using money to buy time. Needless to say, I don't have some personality disorder like Akimoto suspects.
じゃあ今日は君が今のお父さん浅井権蔵さんに引き取られたいきさつについて聞いてみてもいいかな。
That story is a bit long. Is that alright?
ん？ゆっくりで構わないよ。
I glanced at the clock on the wall. I have 15 minutes left of the hour-long session. If I waste too much time, I'm going to be charged extra. To put it simply, it's a result of my biological father's debt. 50 million yen in total. Most of it was from bank and NBFC loans. The real problem started when he borrowed dirty money from Gonzo's organization. Our family was cruelly and continuously harassed by Gonzo's thugs. After mortgaging the house, they carried away all our belongings, furniture, and electronics. There was nothing left. I've only found out recently that they sold everything to a pawn shop. Mother was a bit sickly. Since we didn't even have a bed, we could only lay down some winter clothes in place of futons. Still, even my wildest dreams would have never suspected the loan sharks to be so cruel. Yes, according to newly passed laws, the police can intervene on behalf of citizens when they come into conflict with the underground societies. There was even an organization called the Victims Association. They used the internet to expose the ways that money went through the underground. But these efforts were merely a joke to those people. If one debt collector is chased away, another will come. If that one is chased away, yet another will rear his ugly head. No matter what, no matter how many times we fled or sought shelter, they would find us and knock on our doors. Filing for bankruptcy was popular for a while, but the process would take approximately 1 year from initial claim to closure. During this period of time, if the loan sharks caught up to you, you'd be dead. Your home, your parents' home, your friends' home, hotels nearby, taxi companies, newspaper stands, any place where one could get a temporary job, they would search everywhere. In their minds, it's a humiliation to allow one's prey to escape. As people hung up on preserving their honor, those stubborn bats would chase us to the end, only stopping once they devoured us whole. Ouch. We were easily caught at my grandmother's place. They even chased us all the way to Hokkaido. It was terrifying. Those jerks didn't even spare Mom. They bashed my face in when I tried to protect her. Oh, ouch. And that was how I first became involved with Azai Gonzo. I glanced at the clock again. The hour's almost up. I need to stop by the school. I better wrap this up fast.
なるほどね。よくわかったよ。
Really? Well, then...
もう終わりにするかい？
Yes. There's something I need to do after this.
わかったよ。ただ、浅井君。
Dr. Akimoto lowered the meek corners of his eyes.
今の話だけで君という人間を理解するには少々難しいね。例えば浅井権蔵さんはどうして債務者の息子である君を養子にしたんだい？
I'm sorry, sir, but the time...
ああ、いいんだよ、少しくらい。君がいつも1時間きっかりで帰るのは知っているからね。お金を気にしているんだろ？
He's definitely worthy of being someone whose business is people. He saw through me right away. Then I'll continue for a little longer.
ありがとう。
I sighed and picked up where I left off. He said, "You just might be something, someday."
権蔵さんに？
It's probably because he saw that I didn't seem scared even though I was being pounded on by thugs.
度胸が座っていたんだね。
It's because my mind had shut down at the time.
何にしてもヤクザに見込まれるなんて大した男だよ、君は。
This man is too warm. I've met many people like him in my time. Nevertheless, I don't feel anything. No matter how upstanding a person is, you can't trust him. Even distinguished people, like this university professor and hospital advisor, are still after nothing but money. There have been occasions like today where he gave me discounts on the extra time I took. But that too is just another attempt to placate and manipulate his customers. If personal interests aren't a part of the motive, then things just don't add up. I'd rather deal with the simple, easy-to-understand side of humanity than try to truly know someone. So I became the son of Azai Gonzo. Because in the whole world, you won't find a that's as simple as him. Gonzo gave me a warm place to live, everyday necessities, and the means and motivation to graduate from middle school. If I went to see him today and mentioned that I wanted to work for the family business in the future, he'd enroll me tomorrow in business classes only the rich could afford. If I decided I wanted to get in shape, then he'd introduce me to a boxing coach. Only he didn't do that out of love or goodwill. After he heard my requests, Gonzo would say the same thing every time. Listen, Kyousuke, the reason that I gave you these things and money is to put you under my control. Dr. Akimoto's expression became grave for an instant. If If you ever get the idea in your head to off me in my sleep, I'll have raised you in such a way to make you hesitate to go through with it, if even for but a second.
噂には聞いていたが、強烈なお父さんだね。
Isn't it great how simple and easy he is to understand? He had no answer to my inquiry. Well, that's pretty much it for time.
ああ、最後にいいかな。
What is it?
君は友達なんかからよく忘れっぽいと言われたりしていないかな。
I frowned. I sometimes forget about promises that I made.
そう。
He nodded with force. What about it?
いや、君のように忙しい若者ならうっかりすることもあるのだろうね。
He's clearly trying to hide the truth, the reason that he asked me the question. He likely intends to leave it hanging like that on purpose as a teaser for the next appointment.
じゃあ次回また都合がついたら連絡をください。
Thanks again for today. I straightened up and left. After I paid at the end of the hall, I was suddenly hit with a wave of dizziness. I need a change of pace. I'm forgetful. I should be complaining about how I can't forget. I can't shake the resentment that comes from her casual trashing of my CD, knowing that it's something I valued more than anything other than my own life. Kanon, I'll make sure that you pay.
兄さん、聞いてよ聞いてよ。
When I arrived at school, it was already lunch break. Kanon was grumbling with a frown.
バレーボールできなかったんだよ。
Looks like the plan is progressing without a hitch. What? What happened? I desperately fought back my laughter as I listened to her complain.
なんだかね、体育用具室の鍵がなくなっちゃったみたいなの。もう、ほんとどこやっちゃったんだよ。
The keys are already in the school's mailbox.
そっか、それは残念だったね。
They're both on the left side of the screen right now. Eiichi's eyes were sparkling with evil.
結局マラソンになったんすよね。この寒空の中マラソンとか思わず転校してやろうかと思いましたよ。
What? You were looking forward to it too?
あ、いえ、自分基本スポーツ苦手なんで、バレーボールみたいなボール関係は特に。
It's got nothing to do with ball games. You're just bad at anything team-oriented, aren't you?
いや、それはないっす。
She desperately lacks self-awareness.
でもカノンちゃん、今度の体育の時間に延期になっただけだから。のんちゃん来週から3日間合宿だもん。学校来られないもん。
Too bad.
残念残念。
Eiichi and I exchanged glances as we tasted the sweet nectar of victory.
しかし、誰が鍵を隠したんだろうな。
Shock stole my words as Usami opened her mouth to speak.
どういうことですか?
Yet Eiichi still had that stupid grin on his face.
だからあの鍵を盗んだのは誰なんだろうなって。盗まれた。うんうん。盗まれたなんて誰も言ってないっすよ。
This is bad.
なんで盗まれたと思ったんすか？いや、なんとなく宇佐美さん？栄一くん？
Usami advanced toward Eiichi.
エテ吉さん。栄一だって。エテ吉さんは体育用具室の鍵を実際に見たり使ったりしたことはありますか？
This is bad. This is really bad.
鍵見たことなんてないよ。鍵なんて先生が持ってるもんだからね。ならさっきはどうしてあの鍵って言ったんですか？言いましたよね。あの鍵を盗んだのは誰なんだろうなとか。普通はその鍵って言いませんかね。実際に見たこともなくて話に聞いただけのものに対してあのとか使いますかね。それは言葉のあやってやつじゃない？エイちゃんが盗んだのか？
Kanon raised her hand.
ちょっと僕じゃないよ。カノンちゃん落ち着いて。待てー。
Well, busted. Eiichi bolted, leaving Kanon to chase after him.
浅井さん。
Usami suddenly turned toward me.
昨日はどうも。
Usami, oh, no problem. I have a bad feeling about this.
聡明な浅井さんはどう思います？
I'm not that smart. Could it be that she suspects me? Darn. The biggest advantage to this plan was the single fact that we wouldn't naturally be suspected or become suspects. But that idiot just had to go and poke a hole through the armor.
これってバレたらシビアにまずいですよね。
Yeah, if it really was him, he'd be suspended.
ですよね。うちのクラスだけじゃなくてこの学園全部の体育の授業で用具室が使えなくなってしまったんすから。ただエテ吉さんって邪悪な心の持ち主ではありますけど、チキンはチキンだと思うんすよ。スライムですし。
I knew it. She's suspecting me. If we're found to be responsible, we'll be suspended. Eiichi is just a small-time troublemaker. He wouldn't take this kind of risk. What? Are you trying to say that I'm his accomplice? The corner of Usami's mouth curved upwards.
浅井さんには動機がありますからね。
Oh? And what is this so-called motive?
CD に傷つけられましたよね。お返しにカノンが楽しみにしてたバレーボールが中止になったら愉快じゃないですか。
She saw right through my plot. Wait, I'm a chicken as well.
そうっすかね。
If I wanted to get back at her, I would. But why would I do something on this scale and disrupt the entire school like a terrorist?
木を隠すなら森の中っていうかペンギンを隠すなら群れの中と言います。
The old saying of what planet?
容疑者を絞り込ませないために犯罪の規模を大きくする。なかなか手の込んだことをしてくれますね。
Look, I really wasn't involved. I mean, come on. Disrupting the entire school for the day just to satisfy a personal grudge is way too much for me.
今日の
Come on.
どうして今日のなんすかね。明日になったら鍵を発見されてるんすかね。まるで鍵が今日中に見つかることが分かってるような発言じゃないですか。
No, wait. I can still get away with this. The school can't screw up PE 2 days in a row. The teachers will think of something. Besides, I never said that the key would be found today, just that PE has been disrupted for the day. Don't make that kind of misleading statement. Usami laughed lightly again.
それはそうかもしれませんね。
You get it?
理解できないこともありませんが、まだまだ納得できるほどじゃないと思いました。
We stared at each other for a while. No need to panic. She has no proof. The keys will be found soon, and all this commotion will die down soon enough. As long as there's no proof that Eiichi was in the faculty office at 9 o'clock last night, this affair will be buried in the darkness.
そろそろ休み時間終わるよ。
Yeah, and it's really cold too. We should go back to the classroom.
カノンちゃんももういいじゃない。
Kanon was yanking Eiichi along by the tie.
僕じゃないよ。どうしてくれる宇佐美さんも浅井くんはみんなが迷惑するようなことをする人じゃないよ。
私は正しいことは正しいと、間違っていることは間違っていると言いたいだけだ。
でもお友達なんだし疑っちゃダメだよ。
友達が間違っているのに間違っていると言わないのは悪だ。
She's got a steady head on her shoulders. Yet something in my gut, or the very bottom of my heart, can't help but feel repulsed. Just who the heck is this girl?
っていうか、椿、私のことは勇者と呼べと言ったろ。
And she gets mad about the weirdest things.
ごめんね宇佐美さん。
だからちげえだろうが。
And so lunch break ended. Okay. Great. Bye.